What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to break down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for as time progresses. I'm also going to talk about why on earth there's likely more upside coming for the markets soon, in my opinion, what happened during the FOMC meeting, and how this is affecting the markets, and what I predict is going to happen going into tomorrow and beyond. But before I break anything down about what's going on with the markets for SPY, Tesla, Nvidia, and all these different tickers, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 6 free stocks. If you deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks plus 6 months of level 2 data. Putting in $25,000 or more guarantees you 70 free stocks plus 12 months of level 2 data. The offer ends in just 5 days, so check it out before they run out. Anyways, let's break down what's going on with the market. Looking at SPY, we saw a very monstrous push to the upside today. Basically, the Fed announced that they're not going to be raising rates again, at least during this period. And on top of that, we got the economic projections from the Fed, which suggests that the Fed is going to cut rates very, very soon, most likely. So that news caused the market to explode. And then Jerome Powell's speech caused the market to explode even more. And we saw SPY manage to close above 470. I think there's more upside coming on either Thursday or Friday. I'm going to be breaking down exactly why that is and what's happening with all of this economic data. So, what happened during the FOMC meeting? Once again, the interest rate decision by the Fed is to keep the rate the same. Then we had the FOMC economic projections that came out, which basically suggested that there are going to be 3 rate cuts likely coming in 2024. The market went crazy when this came out, and they're very excited. We're seeing the market just continuing to rally. But the question is, what does this mean for the market? Does this mean a recession is coming? And here's my answer, guys. I think there's likely going to be a recession for 2024, but at the same time, the market is not really expecting it in a way. The market's not necessarily expecting a very, very hard landing because so far economic data has still shown growth in the economy, and it's not really showing it right now, at least on paper, right? Because I know data can be manipulated, but so far the market is pricing in a soft landing and the market is very excited. So with that being said, the way the market's seeing this is the market thinks there's going to be a soft landing. The market thinks that inflation is going to come down like crazy. It's getting so excited, and they think that the Fed is going to continue to cut rates over and over and over again. And in doing so, this is going to lead to less pain in the economy, and this is going to start improving different circumstances for different businesses. That's what the Fed is thinking. Not the Fed, sorry, the Fed to some extent, but more like towards the markets. And even though for January 2024, the market still thinks the Fed is going to keep the rate the same. For March 2024, the market is starting to expect or price in a rate cut. There's like a 68% chance of us getting a rate cut by 25 basis points and 2 more cuts for the rest of the year of 2024 so far. Now, what generally happens during our economy is that the Fed starts cutting rates when there's a lot of pain that starts, and that's what when like the recession is going to start and stuff like that. Could the Fed be anticipating some pain that's coming? Could the Fed be seeing a recession? That's why they're going to be cutting rates more? Or could it be just because of the inflationary data? There's no way I could really give you guys a defined answer, but I can tell you that I don't think it's going to be a super soft landing. I still think that there is some pain coming for 2024. And even though we're not really like there yet, do not solely judge the economy based off how the stock market is doing. It is very manipulated. So never forget that, guys. The reason why the market's running like this is because there's so many shorts and because of the election year, in my opinion. So what did Jerome Powell said? He said very similar things, but he's actually a little bit more, I would say, like he's less stringent now, and he's more fixated on the notion that the Fed is in the like concluding phases of their rate hike cycle. So the Fed has been raising rates quite a bit, and Powell made it clear that they're near the peak of the interest rates and the Fed could be getting ready to cut. He also mentioned that the Fed has to cut before we reach 2% inflation because, and that's very important, because of the fact that they don't want to over tighten, basically, right? He made that very, very clear. So that being said, they still have the 2% rate, the rate target, not the rate, the inflation rate target of 2%. And they may have to start cutting beforehand. The market loves that. The market is so far pricing in the soft landing. It's excited, and we will see if that ends up being the case. Janet Yellen was also giving a speech today. She said the same thing, that there's no sign of a hard landing yet, especially looking at the employment sector. And right, once again, guys, this is just worth noting. This is very important, and we'll just see how it goes. With that being said, I went over the majority of the things that Powell mentioned, from the cuts to the fact that the Fed has work to do. He mentioned that another rate hike is a possibility, but right now there's no sign of it, and they're just going to be very patient for the time being and look at what else is to come. But he started to talk about, and this is the first time we've heard Powell say that the Fed is near the conclusion of their rate hike cycle and they're getting ready to start cutting very soon. So, with that being said, what's going on with the markets? As a reminder, on Friday, we have over 4 million puts expiring, and we have just under 2 million calls with a 2.4 puts to call ratio. I believe that this could cause more squeezing for the markets, but we'll see if it happens for Thursday or Friday. So far, I think there's potential for that. The fear and greed index is becoming more greedy. We're not at extreme greed yet. We're continuing to see these indicators becoming overblown, whether you're looking at the market momentum, the market strength right now, and these different factors thus far. So, with that being said, let's now talk about the charts. What do I think is going to happen? Well, for the first time in quite some time, we got not only like a crazy day on an FOMC meeting to the upside, this was a historic day, crazy, crazy price action. But now we got a more widened MACD crossover on the MACD for SPY, which suggests that there could be more upside. I also want to note that technically, let me find it, on the dollar index, we have a bearish engulfing candle, and the dollar has a potential. Let me just double check this just to confirm this, an inverse cup and handle that's forming. You guys can see it right here on the dollar index, which suggests that this thing has more downside coming. I think I can see this dropping. We have a bearish looking daily engulfing candle. Look at this candlestick, guys. It looks really bearish. It's going to likely drop more, and this could help the market pump. So, what do I think is going to happen? Here is my answer. With SPY breaking out, we have this liquidity zone around 473.8 to 474. I think we're going to visit this either tomorrow or by Friday. So there are two possibilities I'm seeing. We might get a consolidation day tomorrow and then blow up on um, Friday, or we might not just do that. We could just start blowing up immediately. I see two possibilities. Either we kind of just like shuffle a little bit like this for some time uh, for Thursday, then we just start blowing up on Friday like this. They start squeezing shorts and we just start pushing back up. That's just one possibility. Or we could just start blowing up as soon as Thursday and we just go straight up to 474. Those are two possibilities, right? We could just blow up anyways as soon as tomorrow and make our way up to that target. I think there's a good chance of that potentially happening. Uh, and then we'll just have to see how high this market could go, because that reaches a point where the market just continues to pump like crazy with no stop being shown right now. So indicators do look overbought, but I'm not sure if that matters. The market still looks strong, very, very strong close. There's no sign of this thing breaking down, and we're continuing to see buyers stepping in. The majority of people are shorting the market, betting the market's going to drop. Are they going to win this time? Or are we about to see history repeat itself with a lot of these shorts being squeezed? Either way, guys, I see upside coming either Thursday or Friday, either consolidation, then upside for Friday, or a little consolidation, then upside as soon as Thursday, and then more for Friday. I see that for SPY, going to be looking at 474. If we're bearish, you want to see it close below 467. If that's the case, then we could be coming back down to 465. No sign of that. It looks very strong right now, and I think the odds favor some more upside. For the QQQ, it looks bullish. We're going to be looking at some resistance around 405.5. Then we have 408 next as our target. Two possibilities just like that of SPY. Either this thing kind of like cools off a little bit, consolidates a bit, and starts breaking out either on Thursday or like Friday. And by Friday, we just see this thing start pushing and slowly make our way up towards that 408 target to squeeze more shorts. That's one possibility. Another possibility would be uh, we break out as soon as tomorrow. Tomorrow is the day we just see this thing hit these levels. If we get above 405.5, there's a good chance we're going to be heading for 408 very, very quickly, either by Thursday or Friday, and we just make our move up. Either way, I see either consolidation and then push up to 408, or we just push up from here. I'm saying that for the QQQ because when you look at the bigger time frames, the daily looks bullish. It's pushing up in the after hours, squeezing shorts, bullish crossover on the PPO. Looks strong. When we get these bullish crossovers, we tend to push more. Don't worry about the market being overbought. Just watch it intraday and watch our levels. The odds do favor more upside. There's no sign of the market breaking down yet. Tesla also bounced very, very nicely. And this is very beautiful to witness. If you look at Tesla, especially on the different time frames, the daily looks bullish because Tesla came down to 228, but they grabbed liquidity. And then when the news came out that the Fed may be cutting in 2024, they're targeting 3 cuts for 2024. Tesla loved it because one of the things that Elon Musk has been saying is that the interest rates being high is adding to costs for Tesla and slowing down demand to some extent, leading to some macroeconomic hardships. So with the cuts coming, and the market thinking there's going to be a soft landing, Tesla is going to, like this news, it's starting to blow up. We're almost back above 240. There's a good chance Tesla's going to try to break out. We had this wedge that was forming. I could actually redraw this now into like more of like a falling wedge like pattern, and Tesla's broken out of it, and it looks like it's not stopping yet. So what do I see for Tesla? Could consolidate, make its way back down just a little bit towards like 237.5 and start breaking out for 242, or it could just shoot all the way up to 242 and start pushing up towards this blue trend line, trying to make its way up to 245. I see some upside coming on Tesla. We've got a very, very nice looking trend. I also want to call out that on the 4-hour time frame, we have a very, very nice looking indicator right here suggesting that Tesla's about to get a bullish crossover on the PPO. The chart looks bullish to me. I think there's going to be upside and Tesla's going to be breaking out very soon, either tomorrow or Friday. I see Tesla eventually breaking out. Watch and see if it could break above 242. If it does so, it's going to turn a lot more bullish. What about Nvidia? Nvidia is looking a bit more bullish. I was talking about this quite some time ago. I was saying, do we reject off here and come back down, or do we end up breaking out? I was concerned that Jerome Powell could cause us to move in either direction, but I did warn you guys, to watch 482. That is where the Nvidia has gone to. I've been calling that level for a couple of days, and on top of that, if you look at Nvidia's chart, the 4-hour time frame is getting very close to a nice uh, resistance test. We have a very, very nice looking bullish crossover on the PPO. I think it was the daily I'm just trying to refer to. The daily is about to like cross. I think we're getting closer to it. The daily, and that's what I was looking for. The daily is about to get a bullish crossover on the PPO. Typically, this leads to more upside. So watch Nvidia either back test and grab some liquidity around this 479 area, then bounce and start pushing up for 485. If we break that, I wouldn't be surprised if we get close to 490 very soon. This thing is starting to uptrend. We could even start to draw out these trend lines connecting it right here. So it's looking a bit more bullish right now. We're also approaching we've broken above our 20 EMA, which is a very decent sign. And we're about to get a bullish crossover on the PPO. Wouldn't be surprised if this thing starts pushing for 485 and even higher levels than that. For Apple is the stock I'm a little bit concerned about because even though Apple's breaking out, you want to be careful since this thing had some tight resistance at that 197 area and it's a little bit overbought. I would say that for Apple, we look bullish on the daily. It might push up more, might backtest and grab some liquidity at 197, then bounce and start pushing up, or it might just break up from here. Our next target is going to be, well, we have these 2 levels of resistance basically from the previous wedge area. I would say watch this as resistance. If we break 198, we're going to be pushing up for resistance at 199. If we get above that, we could slowly uptrend for $200 by Friday. Wouldn't be surprised if Apple breaks out. For support, watch 197. If that fails us, watch for a test of 195 or so. In my opinion, it looks bullish. I think it could get very close to $200. And I think we're getting closer as time goes on. So it looks bullish, guys. That's pretty much it for the main 5. Let's now just talk about a couple more tickers. SoFi has broken out. Very bullish looking move after what the Fed has announced. SoFi, looks very excited. We're going to be looking for that $9 resistance. And finally, we got a big, big, big break on SoFi after so much consolidation, which is finally a good area for breathing. I think it's about to test the weekly 200 EMA. Watch for 9.45. I think there's a good chance we're going to get it all the way up there. On the IWM, bullish looking weekly time frame. On the 4-hour time frame, we look bullish. This thing got a nice breakout, and we're going to be looking for it to either backtest the breakout zone, this like 191 area, then break out more, or just break out from here. I also want to mention that now that this thing is broken out, we have to look at the weekly. It looks really bullish. It's going to be making its way up to 197.8. So look for a backtest of the 192 breakout, then 197, or it could just break out straight up to 197. It looks bullish overall. Microsoft attempted to break out, not looking as strong as the market. It was actually kind of flat for the day. But I just want to mention that We're going to be watching this resistance at 375. Can we try to break that? Because we're getting very close to bullish crossover on the 4-hour time frame. I just want to call out that showing some life, it still is technically uptrending. I could see it trying to push it for 377 soon. I could see a little bit of upside, but it's looking kind of weak compared to the market. It's not pushing up as hard. So I could see a little bit of push for 377. I see some potential for that. On AMD, AMD is still holding up quite decently. It actually looks bullish on the daily. My only concern about AMD and trying to play it up here is the fact that it's very overbought, but there's no sign of it stopping, no sign of it breaking down yet. I could see it push for 142. I think that's where we had the resistance last time I checked it. So we'll be watching for a push all the way up there. If it breaks 142, going to be looking for a push all the way up very close to 150. Watch for 142 and then 145 and then 150. I think there's more upside still coming. For the VIX was actually kind of green, but don't forget that the weekly looks bearish. The 4-hour looks bearish on the VIX. No signs of that breaking. SQQQ still looks bearish. No sign of this thing bouncing yet. Still on a big downtrend. This is bullish for the markets. Coinbase looks bullish. Remember the thing I called out on Coinbase? Little drop and pop coming. I also mentioned this to you guys on the weekly chart on Coinbase. Look at the 200 EMA at 168. That's my target. I think we're going to be pushing for 168 very soon. Could we grab some liquidity at 145? Yes, but then I see a push for 168. For Alibaba, as long as we hold above 70, I see it pushing for 75. I still think that's on the table. For Google, I was talking about Google looking kind of weak, but we started off very weak and then we turned just barely in the green. We look kind of indecisive on the weekly, but we're holding above our 20 EMA at 132. So if 132 holds, I think that Google has potential to try to bounce. We're nearing a bullish crossover on the PPO, but we have to try to break above 134.6. If we break 134.6, watch for a push up towards this wick at 136. If we get above the 134.6 area, more upside is coming, but it needs a little bit more of a push. It's not really that strong yet. It needs a little bit more momentum to turn bullish. So it's getting closer, but we're not there yet. Let's see if it could break out. Amazon testing 150. We'll see if that breaks on Amazon. Let's see if Amazon can try to get there. We're going to look at the weekly charts on Amazon. Not bad whatsoever. Nice break to the upside. Watch this high right here. This high right over here. We had this wick very close to this one. So 150 is where we have this resistance. If we break this, I'm going to be looking for a push up for about 157. I could see Amazon pushing up even more. No sign of this thing breaking down yet. It's still uptrending slowly. It's a very slow climb. Still has potential. On Meta, nice bounce on Meta. Weekly's looking a bit more bullish. Going to be looking for a push for 342 very soon. I think we're basically going to get it very, very soon. All right, guys, that's it for this one. So what is my view of the markets? Very simple. The stocks are looking more bullish. Tomorrow could be kind of like a sideways day for SPY before a bullish Friday, or we're just going to break out as soon as tomorrow and just continue. It's got to be one of those two. Either way, I think that for either Thursday or Friday, depending on how we kind of like open, I think there's a very good chance we see 474, and I think that this is not stopping. Right now, there's no sign of the market breaking down, so I'm not going to turn bearish. It is still pushing up, and we'll just see how it goes and how it reacts to these resistance levels. All right, so that's it for this one. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected. I'll see you guys once again very, very soon. Thank you, and peace out.